Hello fashion friends and family, this is Stacy here from Sobromo, Mason Elsa Fitzgerald, and the Fashion Heritage Needle Trades Foundation. We are on site in Kuala Lumpur. We arrived in 3-ish in the morning or something like that, but we're trying to make our way to breakfast, but we'll show you around because the decor is pretty cool here. I love that there's like a mirror in the elevator.
I know.
Out to the pool.
Ready for the beach.
Yay.
Nice to relax for a minute.
Oh, there it is over there. Maybe. So we just arrived to the Sky Pool, and yeah, it's like pretty overcast, but it's really nice out.
It's pretty out.
Yeah. Yeah, this is perfect. So we are getting ready for high tea, and I'm deciding which of the painting with lace dresses I'll wear, although I did wear this one to breakfast, so we will see. But how perfectly do these dresses match to this room? We are, as a reminder, we are in Kuala Lumpur. And we've arrived into a modern French inspired palace. Here we have the Kabaya inspired suit that's made in Baltimore. This is probably our second prototype. And we will be doing this in different laces and selling this back in Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia. And so right now we're really just looking through the market, looking at what's currently available, making connections within these cities and countries, and look forward to doing a new production on this in Baltimore. We look forward to growing USA made Mason Elsa Fitzgerald. This is the mauve one. This is the one that I wore. It was when I was being interviewed by Voice of America, and was broadcast all over Indonesia and has over 80,000 views. Here's the other one. I wore this for the opening for when we activated the Sobromo space and kicked off a new era of the industry. So when I originally designed my collection, I was doing just this, traveling around the world, and I needed things that were lightweight, packable, and easy to wash and could just sort of dry in hotel rooms. Hooray, my kabaya has arrived. My made in the USA with my own hands kabaya has arrived in Asia. I will be wearing this. Hopefully, I will hopefully be meeting with different journalists to talk about my love for Indonesian fashion through the kabaya and how it's blended with my European design aesthetic that is made in the USA. We will be visiting the lady that made this embroidery work in Bali, Putu Suryan. She is amazing and talented, and we will be taking some lessons and hopefully helping her to bring more awareness to her work. So this was the most popular of all the Elsa dresses. This is the back. It has lace scalloping around it when we pre-sold the collection, and it shipped around the world. Well, we were really busy doing our hair and makeup, and we missed high tea. But that's okay.
3 days. Now it's 7 days. 3 days. 3 days.
Here's our lovely snack. In many ways, it feels as if we've lived, 3 days in one day, in the sense that we've done so much, but it is rejuvenating yet igniting through the work, in the sense that there's so much of my work abroad that was sort of left behind as I returned to my hometown of Baltimore and got really driven to revitalize and work with what's left of the industry to reimagine it. But something I have to remind myself is that although I came back on my own accord and really excited to be a part of my hometown and be headquartered in Baltimore, there's a part of my person that's really invested on this international work, with my studies in London to my time in Indonesia and more of those kind of like Southeast Asian travels, and now expanding that work within the Fashion Heritage and Needle Trades Foundation, which really focuses on that preservation and kind of transfer of knowledge within those skilled areas. And so I've been receiving messages from the different artists and communities that I had worked with prior to moving back to the US. And it reminds me that there is a larger commitment to an industry that does not necessarily look like the factory, does not just look like US, but is a bigger conversation of how do we keep beautiful mastercraft skills within the needle trades and fashion heritage, so that there is something to hold on to, something to pass on, something to look on with as in beauty and process. So I was talking to Nicole over our snacks, our lovely delicious bar snacks here in Kuala Lumpur, as we're like looking over this big city with the sky above and all this opportunity in the work and in the world, but it's so easy to kind of be consistent in our own activities and lose touch with the uncomfortable in a good way of like new spaces, new environments. I would say that I've been to this city before, to Kuala Lumpur, so just in the what feels more like 3 days in Asia in terms of like actively doing things, I feel quite inspired to push my practice, to push my own design elements within the work, not just helping the entrepreneurs grow their work, but this trip was and is a part of that USA Made, that Elsa Fitzgerald, that Maison Elsa Fitzgerald, and what that actually means to our industry back in Baltimore, but also what that means as an Indonesian American fashion designer who is distilling elements of my person and my cultural background that I'm still discovering through Fashion Heritage and in my own collection, and sharing that with the world, and seeing how I will continue to explore that and expand on that. This dress, there are 4 different types of lace that are all cut and pinned together. But I actually brought these fabrics back when I first moved back to the US. I would say the initiative that I worked on with a nonprofit program in the Negros Islands in the Philippines was back in 2015, and it was in 2016 that I had these bolts of like 1 yard fabric, and I started to sew a new type of fashion, one that I really connected to with my own hands, and then wanted to learn to create on my own. And this dress was sewn together in the Bromo Tower, where I had my artist studio, and that's when I was like trying to slow down. I was not trying to think about the industrialization and the mechanization of fashion. I was really just trying to connect to the romance and the beauty of it as it related to me and my artist practice. That said, as it iterates through the years and I reconnect to the kind of the cultural fashion travels and that exchange of inspiration and knowledge, I'm really excited to see where this work kind of continues to carry on, but also hopefully I'll be bringing back some more lace to Baltimore to sow new life into my own collections through Elsa Fitzgerald. Dinner time. French onion.
Yeah, with French onion foam, I'm guessing. I mean, I know like the Smithsonian has some really cool stuff, but we just don't even get to see like all that.
Oh, look at our dessert. Yay! All right, we had a wonderful day. Yes, delicious breakfast, infinity pool overlooking the city, nice pre-dinner aperitifs, dinner, and now we're packing up and we will be heading to Bangkok, but tomorrow morning we will spend part of the day in Kuala Lumpur. Hopefully we'll make it over to another textile museum and the botanical gardens. And Nicole is just packing up too. We're gonna scoot over there and say good night. See you tomorrow.